think we're live. Just waiting for that advertisement to complete.
Uh-oh.
Well, Che doesn't have the same thing we have.
So I wonder if, like, someone who is watching with the advertisement, like, okay, say someone who has Amazon Prime is watching, are they just sitting us, like, watching us go, we're waiting for the advertisement?
Yes. Yeah, they are.
So that's
but it's
your
okay.
pre-show.
But it's okay because it's just a pre-show.
Yeah, that's all right.
Alrighty, you ready?
Sure. I think, is it your turn to host?
Yep, it's my turn.
Okay.
Hi everybody, it's Sorcerer Zero, and you're live with Beery Good Entertainment. This is number 34. We're back to British entertainment today. Today I am joined with my wonderful friend Lola Laracy. Hi Lola, how are you?
Oh, I'm going to try to stay awake. I am so exhausted. I have been up since 5 o'clock in the morning. I got to work at 6 a.m. and I just got home maybe half an hour ago, and I am
Admirable.
British entertainment.
Really admirable.
Mm-hmm.
You're a dedicated
Thank you.
British entertainment fan.
Carry on. What is it? Don't.
I'm sorry. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, what's the phrase? Carry on. There's something else. Don't worry. Carry on. Or,
tally ho.
Tally ho. Keep a stiff upper lip and all that stuff. So I've got a stiff upper lip.
Well, today we need a stiff upper lip today because we're talking about Not So Happy Valley.
Not happy at all.
No, not happy at all.
Oh.
But first, because of our namesake, we're going to go beer.
Yes.
Beer. Because after an entire day of work, what do you want? You want beer. Lola, what do you have on your plate?
I have something that I've never had before. I wanted something different because, you know, we like to showcase new beer. And, of course, Dogfish Head is one of the best breweries out there. And this is called Sea Quench Ale. And they call it a session sour, though I'm not entirely sure it's an actual sour. It doesn't say anything about the wild yeast or any of that stuff. So, but it does say, well, let me see. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about it. But it's a collaboration with the National Aquarium, so that's good. And it says it's blissfully brewed with lime juice, lime peel, black limes, and sea salt. And I got a little glass here. I went ahead and started because I was tired and I wanted some beer, but I got a glass. It looks very yellow so far. Very yellow, almost like a Budweiser. That's how yellow it is. I got too much of a head. I didn't mean to do that. But.
Well, as a session, I would expect it to be pretty pale.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's sour, so I'm not going to dink it. I'm not going to dink it on color.
Yellow. I mean to do that, but it's really good. I definitely taste the lime. I taste the salt. It actually tastes like a goza to me, which is perfect for Florida when it's freaking hot. I don't want anything heavy. It's very light. I could sit here. I could chug this thing. I could seriously chug it.
Is it really hot there? I mean, I know you guys have a front moving in. Is it actually still hot there?
Well, it's raining now. It's storming. So it was muggy today. I guess I wouldn't call it hot. It was muggy. But for a few days there, it was getting up to like 92, 94. So it has been hot.
Your friend behind you looks like he's about to leap for that beer.
Oh, he might. That's LSU. That's the boy. He better not displace my beer. You know better. This is Mommy's
He's
area.
got the innocent face on. I wasn't doing anything.
I know. He's got the biggest eyes, and he's just like, what? What's going on? Oh, that looks so great.
Well, because today is kind of a special episode, Not So Happy Valley did have a movement for me.
Yes.
I decided to celebrate with Fuller's Vintage 2015.
Nice.
This is a bottle conditioned ale. I honestly have no idea. The only thing I see on the box is the box. It's 8.5%. I don't know what to expect out of this thing. It's a beautiful bottle.
That is beautiful. It looks like port.
It does. It kind of looks like a port bottle, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It is port.
Bottle. It's number 136049. So I guess I should feel special. I got a numbered bottle.
All right, your own bottle, your own number. No one else has that.
Nobody else has this bottle but me.
Mm-mm. But you and Che. Che has it too.
Yes.
Well,
and Carell is our producer.
Yeah. He gets half of everything.
Ooh. Oh, I think our producer is going to really like this.
What does it smell like?
It's kind of raisiny.
Oh, I love raisin. I love all those dark fruits.
Look at that.
Is gorgeous. It's almost
that is like
magenta.
a deep amber with
Burgundy.
a lovely fluffy white head.
That is gorgeous. I definitely see the fruit tints in there. That is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's got a lovely it's got a lovely caramel aroma to it. Oh, I think we lost Lola, but did we lose Lola or did we lose me? I don't think we lost me. Okay. Lovely caramel aroma. Kind of raisiny, just a hint of alcohol. And I'm going to let Lola know. You're totally frozen.
It's just a laptop.
It's all right. She'll be back. Wow, this is... How do I describe this? This really tastes like a very English ale. Really malty with just a bare hint of like not vinegar, it's a tanginess that kind of hits the tongue, almost vinegar, but not quite. It really reminds you of something special with lots of malt and caramel in it. And then plenty of hops, plenty of balancing hops all the way through. Sorry, Lola, you there again? Are you okay?
Oh, I'm okay. I just got frozen, but I got a good picture of you because it froze on you for me.
Oh.
So I got a good picture.
I was just letting our listening audience know that this has got a lovely caramel aroma.
Okay.
And it's got an interesting flavor of caramel, malt, a touch of raisin, and it tastes English. Does that make sense to you? It tastes English, not in like an interesting, almost not a vinegar, almost a tangy, barely on the side of vinegar, but interesting. Not sour, not actual vinegar, but interesting.
Okay.
It's really nice. I really like it. I am going to pick up another bottle of this. If I see this again, I got this at Corvallis Brewing Supply here in Oregon. If I see Fuller's again, I'm definitely picking it up, whether it's 2015 or 2016. I am thoroughly enjoying it.
And it is imported? It's from England?
It is. It is imported. Fuller's is imported from I know I saw
Canada.
this. No, Lake Chaswith? Cha Chiswich.
They
Chiswich?
have those
Chiswich?
weird names.
London.
Cheers, mate.
So, cheers.
Sounds good to me. Cheers. I got my dogfish head, and you've got your chiswich. Chiswich, chiswich.
Well, oh, Lola, I have to admit, I watched Black Books before I watched the episode of Not So Happy
That
Valley.
was dangerous because you could still be in a funk from Happy Valley.
But Happy Valley was I have to admit it was a moment for me because they saved her.
Yes,
They
thank
saved
goodness.
her and they got her back to her
Yes.
family.
Okay.
She is home and she is safe.
Yes.
Catherine lost her spleen.
Oh, I've heard that that's not the worst thing that could happen, but it sounds horrible.
It does.
It
Well,
sounds
losing any
horrible.
part of having to lose
Yes.
any part of your body, I mean, the chance for later infection is really, okay.
Oh,
So I'm going into the
okay.
biology thing, but
Okay.
it's, losing a part of your body is not comfortable. But at least
No.
she did survive. Catherine survived it.
Yeah.
The good thing is they got most of the jerks behind it. They got
Right.
the top guy.
Yeah.
What was his name again? Where is his name?
Ashley.
Ashley.
Mhm.
Oh, I was so happy they
What a
arrested Ashley.
douchebag. I know. That wife shouldn't
Douchebag
even.
Ashley. They got him. And
Well,
his
not only
ex.
that, but
Yeah.
he's the tie to the big drug operation, right? So they got that too.
Yeah, I'll mention that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But they got Ashley. Now, Tommy got away. Now, we saw what happened with Tommy, but Tommy got away.
Yes. Yeah.
After Tommy and the young guy Tommy and the young guy got away, and they managed to hide with some friend. I don't remember his name.
I don't either. Enabler. We'll call him Enabler. Hello.
No, your buddy back there is
Oh, is it the cat?
the cat and your buddy.
I think I hear Clint. Hey, Clint.
Hi, Clint.
What's going on?
Hi.
We're talking about Happy Valley.
Love it.
Yeah, Clint likes it too.
That's because Clint has good taste.
He does have good taste. He's dating me.
Absolutely. I agree with that. So Tommy and the young guy got away and they start hiding with their friend in this flat somewhere is it in London?
Looks like it. Maybe one of the suburbs.
In some apartment somewhere.
Well, probably not London. Don't you think it's still Happy Valley?
I guess it's probably still Happy Valley.
Yeah.
Somewhere
I
in
think so.
Happy Valley, some high-rise apartment.
Mhm.
And Catherine goes home.
Oh, Catherine.
And that's where I started to feel so bad for her. Did you feel bad for her? Because once you find out this guy you've gone after, and she thought she had him. She thought he was in there. She thought they all had him.
Mm-hmm.
And she wakes up and finds out that the girl is safe, and she's good with that. She's like, okay, the girl is safe. That's great, but this guy that I've been after for so many years got away, and see like lifelessness come over her, and I felt so bad. I wanted to scoop her up and just hold her in my arms and go, it'll be okay. We'll find him. We'll find him.
She probably lashed out at you, though. She probably lashed out.
Yeah, I know.
She'd probably be like, shut up.
Shut up.
What do you know? Who are you?
You don't know anything.
I know. And I'd be like, I'm sorry, you're right. I don't know. Just go into a corner and just you be you.
No, we'll find him. We'll spread eagle him on a wall, and
Yeah, we'll take a knife to his genitals. That sounds good.
we're gonna go all American on his ass.
Yes, we're gonna go, or we're gonna go. We're gonna be like Ramsay Snow with what's his name? Yeah, that's what we're gonna
Yes.
do.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep.
And then we'll pretend to eat it. We'll eat a sausage and be like, "Oh, you thought this was yours?" Oh, ah.
Yeah, if there was anybody I want to do it to, it's definitely Tommy.
Yes, he is such a little scourge. He is a little thing. Like they said, he's just a little broken thing.
Catherine winds up yelling at, it's her sister's kid, right?
No, it's her grandson.
Oh, it's her grandson, sorry.
Yeah, Ryan.
Ends up yelling at her grandson because her grandson gets in trouble at school. And, okay, I can totally see where he is acting out, trying to get attention.
Yeah.
Because his grandma hasn't been home for, like, what? It must be weeks now.
I think they said 3 weeks or 4 weeks at some point.
Yeah, he's angry. He's angry even though his dad is paying attention to him. His granddad is not a cornerstone of his life.
No.
His grandmother is that cornerstone of his life, and she hasn't been around.
Mhm.
So he starts being mean to people at school.
Well, and plus he knows his father is out there, and he's probably still upset that he can't see him. Because he met Tommy Lee, remember?
Yeah, but I know he doesn't really understand. And he's probably a little frightened of the prospect of this weirdo running up to the car saying, "I'm your dad."
Yeah. That's freaky for an 8-year-old boy to comprehend.
Yeah, so he starts acting out, which I can't fault him for.
No.
But Catherine just like almost loses it. Almost.
Yeah,
just
I was
tells
really
him,
scared.
Yeah, it just tells him you ought to be grateful for me. You ought to be grateful for me. And if you're not, there are going to be consequences. She walks away, and he's like, "What consequences? What are the consequences going to be?"
He wants to know, what are the consequences? You're going to get grounded. I hate you, you bitch.
Oh, yeah, when they got back in the apartment. I hate you. He throws something at her, and then runs off. And poor Catherine, like, she's like the teapot. She finally boils over.
She boiled over.
Smashes the teapot down on the counter. Wham! I was like,
whoa.
But at no time did she ever hit the child.
Thank goodness. I was worried. I was like, oh, please don't let her do that. Because that would be hard to back away from. It would be hard to defend her after that.
But she's never shown a penchant for ever doing anything towards the child. She waits. She lets him run away.
Yeah.
And then she loses her temper. And, and although it's painful for us to watch, it's totally understandable. Her breaking items is better than her losing her temper with the child in the room.
Yeah, that's the alternative.
I have to kind of admire the writers.
Yeah.
The writers are writing for me.
Right.
Because if she had turned around and laid a hand on that child, that would have been it.
Yeah.
I would have ended my watching experience right there, and I never would have talked about it again. I think the writers know exactly how far they can push this thing with the parents.
And you can't hit a child. You can't defend that. I mean, there's just no going back from that.
In a horror movie where you're, or in a documentary.
Yeah.
that's something, that's a contract. That's kind of a social contract we willingly entertain. Okay, so we're walking into a horror movie. We know, kids might get grabbed into the next dimension.
Yeah.
In a documentary, yes, we're going to be shown how the child was hurt. We willingly enter into that. But this is a little more fantasy, sci-fi-ish.
That is still a family show.
It
Even
is
though,
still a family show. It is, and I don't want to see. I don't want to see blatant violence against children.
not from the protagonist. Now, from a side character, that might happen, but not from our main character.
Well, we do have confirmation that the girl was raped,
Yeah, that was very hard to hear.
but she very proudly announced the nurse came and took tests. You can
And
get
I'm going to get them. Yeah, they've got everything
Yeah.
they need.
as soon as they find him, they will get him, because I let them have all the evidence they
Right.
needed. And I had to feel so proud of her. She was so brave at that point, because when she got home, she was nothing but a shivering little wreck.
Mm-hmm.
And for her to stand up and go, take the evidence you need, so that you can get this jerk. Wow.
What that shows me is she's rightfully angry, but she's not broken.
Mm-hmm.
She has it together enough to be able to say this. She's defiant. She's not cowering, and I like that, because it would be totally understandable if she were a cowering mess and couldn't talk and couldn't see anyone and just, was shattered. It would be understandable. And I'm grateful that she still has her sense of self.
Absolutely. And, I don't blame any woman for being that shivering wreck that doesn't want anybody, including any doctor or any lawyer or any police officer, to touch her. I totally understand that. I'm never going to blame a woman for being that frightened. But as an entertainment show watcher, I'm glad. I feel a little better that, I found somebody with a few claws,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get this guy who did this to me.
Conviction.
Yeah, exactly. Conviction. I'm glad she had the conviction. It makes me feel better about the series.
And about this situation, because it was so hard for 5 episodes. We've been worried about her, and we've been seeing the situation go on. And so that's like the one, I guess, maybe silver lining, is that, she was still able to hold on to herself.
Yep, absolutely. Now, that being said, I would recommend any woman who has gone through a rape situation, we understand. We understand if you feel like you can't go through that. You're no less of a human being than anybody else. But if you can report it,
if you can,
take those buggers off the street.
I know, but I also know, though, I mean, when you feel that violated, you don't trust anyone. That's another thing. It messes with your sense of trust. So you may not feel like you can trust a doctor or trust a police person.
It does. You really don't know what to think. I mean, your head, like in the car, we could see, she was screaming, "Don't touch me! Don't touch me!"
Exactly.
The second police officer was like, "I'm not going to touch you, but please tell me what happened."
I need to know what happened. I was very proud of those police officers, too, at least the one who talked to her, because, he could have gotten angry with her. Some police officers would get, snippy with her.
Yeah, or frustrated.
Frustrated.
It was good on the writer's part. Whoever was writing these particular scenes either understood the situation with an uncommon clarity, where they were just in tune with human emotions.
Well, you know, at the beginning it says, I think, directed and written or created and written by one woman. I forgot her name, but it sounds like she writes all of them.
Well, that certainly would account for a lot of the emotional scenes that we're seeing, at least in this episode, because it's really singing out to every instinct I have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy with this episode.
Sally Wainwright is the creator, and let's see if she wrote all of them, because that's the way it sounds. Let's see. Series writing credits Sally Wainwright. So she wrote every single one of them. She didn't direct. She only directed 5. She directed 5, but she wrote every single one of them. How cool is that?
Yeah, I can tell that her influence was incredibly bold and incredibly accurate.
Oh my God, I just realized something. Recently, I'm in her IMDb for Sally Wainwright. Recently, there was a series on PBS called To Walk Invisible, the Bronte sisters. She was behind that.
Oh,
she
really?
was behind that. Yeah, she did that.
That's fantastic.
Awesome, Sally Wainwright. You were cool. And she's from Yorkshire, so that makes sense why she would know the area so well.
Yeah. Excellent. Yes. Way to go, Sally. We applaud you.
Go, Sally.
Oh, the psychologist. The police psychologist.
Oh.
God, somebody just get me a stick.
Oh, about the put your feelings in a box.
Put your feelings on a piece of... Okay, I had a psychologist tell me this for my PTSD, and it's the most ridiculous thing ever. It makes you feel more helpless than ever.
It's
put your feelings in a piece of paper and put it in the envelope, and put the envelope in a box, and put it away until you can handle it. No, what I want to do is rage right now.
Feelings are actual feelings.
I am angry and helpless at the same time, and I need you to help me express that. I don't need to put it in a box in a freaking attic.
Yeah, because things don't stay hidden for long. You can put it in your mental box all you want, but it's going to come back.
Women who have been violated need permission to be angry.
Right.
Be angry. Because this person, these people who did this to you are the lowest forms of life on earth, and it is perfectly acceptable for you to be pissed.
I would say stay pissed, because she needs to be able to keep her focus throughout the investigation and the trial. So I think she needs to remember how it feels.
Yeah. Well, after, was it her boss who came and told her the impact of what she had done? Was it her boss that came and did that, or was it her coworker?
You mean who told
or told her about the drug thing? Okay, so paracetamol goes through, supposedly, according to this series, paracetamol goes through a transfer through Happy Valley to some other parts of England. But along the way, a few trucks get diverted to other warehouses. And in other warehouses, they pick up cocaine, and it gets shifted around.
That's a big trafficking lane they got.
That's a huge trafficking thing.
That's
I mean,
huge.
now we didn't just see it with the paracetamol, but we saw it with gravel. We saw it with 3 different products on this show already. through the construction network.
Okay.
The sand, gravel, and I think straw. I could be wrong. Three
Okay.
different products. Definitely sand, definitely gravel.
I'll say they're resourceful.
Yeah.
They're resourceful.
But Catherine blew the lid off it.
That's awesome.
Because Ashley had to go and deal.
Mm-hmm.
He had to go and say, well, I'll tell you what I know if you go easy on me.
Right. So he cut a deal.
Yeah, he cut a deal, so they blew wide the whole, this whole thing. And as a result, not only Ashley, but his entire family is now at risk from all these, which makes me feel bad for was it his ex-wife?
I know, I think they were still married.
Makes me feel really bad for his wife. Because she never asked for any of this crap. And yet, now she's a target.
Yeah.
She is going to be whooping on him.
She's pissed. She is pissed. And watch them try to do the same shit when they get their new identities.
Oh my God, I hope not.
I hope not too.
I hope they freaking get him.
I hope so too. Well, even if they get Tommy Lee Royce, I mean, that whole drug network, that's way beyond Tommy Lee Royce.
That is way beyond Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee is a minor player.
He's a roach.
But he's the one directly responsible for this girl's abduction and we can really focus our hate on him because he's the direct jackass that raped her, that caused her so much agony.
And killed the young policewoman, remember? At the beginning of the series?
Yeah, killed the young policewoman. Now, the young guy was having really, really seriously having second thoughts when the police started going through the buildings.
Right.
He was like, let's just tell him.
Let's
just tell him right now. He should have just run right out there and done it.
I would have.
Oh, he didn't. It kills me. Yes, he might have gotten 10 years, or I don't know how it works in England. He might have gotten, some years for the terrible things he had done.
Yeah.
But he would have had a chance at a life.
Right.
But he
didn't. Tommy Lee would have been away for a long time.
Yeah, he didn't. And after they left, Tommy Lee got him. We all knew it was going to happen. We all knew Tommy Lee was going to eventually get him and shut him up. Tommy Lee is just freaking crazy in the head.
He's crazy. He's psychotic.
He just wants to shut everybody up. He doesn't care who he kills. I mean, and the young guy, I think the young guy managed to stab him.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I was watching and working at the same time. I didn't catch that.
The friend came home. Okay. The friend came home at the end. The friend came home, and he said, we're making so much money, maybe I can turn the heat back on, or the hot water or something like that. And he walks in the kitchen. Tommy Lee's like, he's all cuddling, and he's got his arm over his gut. Tommy, what happened? What happened? He said, oh, that bugger got me with a knife. But I'll bet what had really happened was Tommy Lee went for him.
Yeah.
The young guy stabbed him, and Tommy Lee just...
Oh, God, he's so vicious. I hate Tommy Lee.
And the young guy is now gone.
Oh, poor young guy.
I feel bad I feel happy and bad at the same time, because he didn't step up when he should have. He should have The second he thought, I should go to the police, he should have just done it.
He should have done it.
He should have just done it.
He was guilty of not being mature, basically.
That's true, but when you're affecting somebody else and you're going, this isn't right, then, you really need to listen to those feelings.
Yeah.
A profit over somebody's life is not worth it. Because eventually, somebody like Tommy Lee is going to value their profit over your life.
Right. They're going to turn on you.
Yeah.
That will always happen.
Which means he not only turned on the young guy, but he strangled his own friend, too.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's so disgusting.
It is, and now he's in a catch-22. How's he going to get out of the building?
Right. I'm sure the police are still there.
How is he going to get out of the building? And he can't stay in there with 2 dead bodies forever.
No.
Is he going to climb over the side of the building like, what, they're 5 stories up or something?
Maybe he'll try. I don't know if they have a fire escape. He might try.
We can hope he slips and falls to his death.
I hope so, too. I really do. Or maybe just starves to death.
Yeah, starving to death would be a little too good for him, but...
Yeah, it would take too long.
Unfortunately, this... I say unfortunately. This is a British entertainment and not an American entertainment.
Right.
So they're not going to do all the horrible, disgusting, nasty things that I know American police officers might take advantage of. The only thing I saw at the end, very, very end, was the bus.
Yeah.
So Catherine makes up with her grandson, and she takes him out for a walk or something. He's on his bike. We see him on his bike, and then we see a bus, and they're not in the same area. We just see them in separate scenes. But oh my God, I had this blaring alarm go off in my head. Oh my God. Oh, please don't let them be connected.
I know.
No. But now I have to watch the next one because I have to know.
I know.
I came that close. I came that close to clicking next.
I know, and we've only got one more in the first series, so only one more episode.
So scary. So scary.
I know. I'm like, don't let anything happen, please.
This is a really good series so far. I would have to shake the hands of the producers and writer and everybody involved for making this so emotionally involving for me. They have not pushed it too far.
No.
I'm totally locked in. I want to know more every single episode.
And I feel so much for Catherine.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like I understand where she's coming from. I mean, I know she's been pushed so far against the wall that she really can't go on. I mean, that's how she feels anyways. It's going to be a long road if she ever gets back to normal.
I think for people having a similar crisis, it might actually be comforting to watch Catherine go through this.
I think it would, because she knows how they feel.
Yeah, because you have somebody who knows, even if you know it's fiction, it's still real for you.
It feels real.
Yeah.
And she conveys it so well.
Somebody is saying how I feel.
And they recognize it. They're like, yeah, that's how I was. I shut down. That's why I shut down.
Yep. Oh God, please don't let the kid die.
Oh God, I hope not. That would
No.
be. I don't think I could handle it. If Ryan died, I think I would be done.
Yeah. Well, if he gets hit, we don't
Mm.
know if he gets, if he gets hit by the bus. It may be just a scare. It may be just a clip, but it's
They're
still going to
messing with
be.
us.
Yeah, they're really messing with.
They really are
They are.
messing.
That was a definite. Watch the next episode.
I know. They're like, ah ha ha. It's like you think everything's settled now that the girl's okay. We still got more drama. Don't get comfortable.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. It's such a small town.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I noticed. Remember a few weeks ago we were trying to figure out what time period it was?
Yes.
Did you notice when she was visiting her daughter's gravestone that it had a year?
Oh, it did, but I didn't pay attention. What year was it?
2006.
Okay. Now
And
we. Okay, so that was 10. How old is
8 years.
8 years? Because the boy is like
Mhm.
8 years old,
Right.
9 years old, or 10 years old, or something.
She said 8. In the episode, she said, I think the aunt said, you're 8 years old.
Oh, okay.
So they said 8 years old.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
2014.
Well, that's entirely reasonable. That's very
Mhm.
modern day.
Very much.
Very modern day. I mean, I know I use this smartphone, but
Flip phones.
they're still using flip phones, but it is in a rural. I know in those areas it's probably a lot more reliable than our regular
Hmm.
smartphones.
That's true because if they don't have a lot of cell towers, they may have to stick to
Yeah.
what they know works. And plus, I mean, it's rural, and they just don't seem like they have a great need for fancy things. I mean, think
Yeah.
of it. We haven't seen any shopping centers, so it's not like there's a Best Buy down the street.
No, exactly. Exactly, yeah.
Hmm.
I think
So
they seem to be, I mean, in those rural areas, they seem to be less concerned with, you know,
the latest and greatest.
yeah.
Yeah, which is okay. Sometimes I think I want to go back to that.
Now, I've been watching another series, and I
Ooh,
just finished going through like the first 5 seasons.
okay.
I've been watching Doc Martin.
I've seen that, but I've never actually watched it.
I've watched it several times now, and
Okay.
I know Careltis has said it seems like it was actually written like in the 80s and then like
Mhm.
updated, and
Mhm.
I totally agree with it because
Mhm.
yeah, the whole in the beginning they don't even start with like real phones, and then they
Oh.
start updating like flip phones,
Uh huh.
and and now it seems like it's gotten to the point where they're at the same, like maybe at the 2010 mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they still have like small phones and flip phones, very small,
Yeah.
reliable things.
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm.
sorry, Doc Martin actually, Doc Martin goes through the life of a doctor who has a fear of blood and surgery. So
Oh.
he moves as a GP to this tiny little seaside town to take
Okay.
over his GP.
Okay. So hopefully you won't see a lot of blood. Hopefully there
Uh,
won't be any children being born. There's blood there.
well, there are a few instances in the first couple of seasons, but he manages to get through it in different ways. Um, but this man has like no emotion.
Okay.
He seems to have no emotion. He's a brilliant doctor, though.
Uh
Absolutely.
huh.
If you're into a medical drama,
Uh huh.
Doc Martin is exactly what you want because he is so good at looking at a person and saying, your eyes look weird. And then he just dives into the problem and he says, you should come see me. And he's looking at their eyes and he's taking their pulse and he's like, and you have this and this and this and this. And bam, instant diagnosis, and it's good, and they're freaking healed, or sorry, you're going to die, you have to go to the hospital. And he's really good at what he does. He's really good at what he does. So if you like a medical drama, Doc Martin is something you should definitely look up.
I might watch that. I always see it on Netflix. I'm always like, I don't know. Do I want to watch it? I don't know.
Don't get totally turned off by his manner, because he is so abrasive.
It kind of reminds me of House, and I got tired of House after a few years.
Yes, but he's not the equivalent of House. Was really super arrogant.
House was rude.
House was purposely rude.
Mm-hmm.
Doc Martin is not purposely rude.
Okay.
He just doesn't realize he's like that. He doesn't even realize he's like that.
Okay.
He's like, what do you mean I'm rude? I'm just
he's
like this.
business-like.
This is just how I am. And in his own aunt's funeral, he's telling people the dangers of being overweight.
Oh, so he's always working.
He's always interested in the biological. He's very one track. I really think because of a lot of the discussions online, that this is a case of having a bit of Asperger's.
Yeah,
or a lot of Asperger's, maybe.
Yeah.
Brilliant diagnostician. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But absolutely no people skills.
None whatsoever.
But he does fall in love with a woman.
Aww. Aww.
He does. It's very sweet. He looks at her. The character displayed, the actor himself is brilliant at going, looking at this woman, and you can see the look in his eyes, like he loves this woman, like she is the only thing on this earth, but he has absolutely no idea what to do with her.
Oh no. He's like, have I told you about the dangers of obesity?
Exactly.
And she's like, what? That would be funny. That would actually be really funny.
There are a lot of those moments. A lot of those moments where he offends her, but he's totally doing it because he loves her.
Yeah, he's trying. Poor guy.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. Understand there are a lot of moments that may offend you, but it's all out of honesty rather than arrogance.
Yeah, some people, they just don't know better. I mean, they really don't. They can't. We can't really fault them for it.
Well, we have Black Books.
This is one of my favorite episodes. It may have been my favorite, yes.
Oh my God. I wanted to smack Manny so hard.
I did too. He was just so clueless. He was just so easily distracted. Although, granted, if I saw a tiny man in someone's hair, I would be distracted too. There's just a tiny man in his hair.
So the whole premise behind the episode is that the bookstore gets robbed. So Manny comes up with this great idea. We should put in a security system, which is fantastic. Yeah. This guy comes in with this really massive security system. A soundproof door with a lock on the inside.
Which I actually think was pretty awesome. I want that set up. That was cool.
But does anybody see the problem with this? The keypad is on the inside.
I saw it. I saw it right away.
So Manny locks poor Bernard outside.
That was hilarious. That was so funny.
He's running back and forth. He's holding up notes. And I could not figure out for the life of me why he did not take the pen with him with a pad of paper, like the rest of us would do. No, he had to run all the way back to the desk, write something, run all
then
the way
bring
back,
it
and
back.
hold it up. I'm definitely fired, right?
Oh no!
Oh no!
He came back. Oh no!
I locked
Yes,
you out. I think I locked you out.
And Manny's like,
Oh no!
I mean, Bernard's like, you let me out. It's like, duh. And Bernard trying to explain to Manny the problem. He is like, how do I get in to do the keypad?
Yeah.
Oh, all you need to do is do the keypad. How do I get in to do the keypad? I was like, if I had been Bernie, I would have been like, I hate you, get away
Yeah.
from me.
And it's
I
only
would-
when he locks Bernard out that he realizes, oh,
No, I see the
problem.
Yes. And
I'll
he
just
doesn't know
punch in the
code.
code. I don't remember the code.
Remember the code. It was like 20 digits long, and the man had a man in his hair.
Poor Manny, he's staring at this guy, and you can hear the guy's voice trail off
Groaning,
into the distance. It's this little army man, and I could see it in my mind's eye right now. I could see the little army man in this guy's hair, and I was wondering, Manny, why don't you just reach over and grab the little army man out of this guy's hair? I would have done that. I would have gone, well, you have something right there. Here, yeah, here you go. Could you repeat that, please? Because I didn't get any of that.
I'm just looking at the little man, and now I want to know how the heck did that little man get in his hair?
I'll bet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet he's a D&D geek.
Oh, you think it's something from a D&D game?
I think it is because you know
Okay.
what? I used to do that. I mean, I used to have my little figurines on a mantle up above my bed.
Cool.
So they fall down in your pillow. If you have long hair, you might get stuck in there. You get up, get dressed, you go to work. You don't.
You don't realize.
You might, if you take a shower in the evening,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you might grab on a bit of deodorant and put your clothes on. But you don't need another shower in the morning after you've already had one in the
Right.
evening, do you?
That's
You
what
just
I
put on your
do.
clothes and you just head out the door.
And his hair's so curly that I could see the little man getting caught in his hair. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Did you recognize the actor?
He looked familiar, but I am horrible with names. Who was he?
Okay. His name is Nick Frost.
Nick Frost!
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
now I
Nick
remember
Frost.
him. Yes.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead and all those movies. Yeah. Pretty awesome. I was like, hey, that's Nick Frost.
hmm
And then he was droning on. I'm like, I have no idea what he's saying. I would be bored too.
Oh, not to draw away from Black Book. Okay, maybe just a little.
Mhm.
But one of the actors in Doc Martin,
Uh-huh.
if you want to get your Game of Thrones on,
Oh, who?
remember the really old Targaryen, the Watcher on the
Yes.
Wall?
Yes.
Yeah, he's in Doc
Oh, I
Martin.
love him. He was
He
so old.
He is somewhere in Doc Martin. And oh my God, you know, I felt so happy for the girl who got to play opposite him to say,
Yeah.
I got to play his granddaughter.
Yes, because he
What
was
a
so
bragging
good.
right. What a bragging right for the rest of your life. You can say you were his granddaughter. You played his
Yes.
granddaughter. That's awesome.
Before Game of Thrones, probably. You think?
Absolutely before Game of Thrones. But that's, wow. And he was just as big a personality as he was in Game of Thrones.
Mhm. I loved him. He was just. I wanted to learn from him. You know, I wanted to serve under him. He was so
Yeah.
good.
And you know, this character had some of the same little nuggets of
Mhm.
wisdom, you know, of being old. You know, he was really old in Doc Martin,
Yeah.
And he kind of gave out those little nuggets of information that we really value in Game of Thrones. It was a
Yeah.
very similar situation.
Okay. I'm in their IMDb. I'm trying to find him, but I'm not recognizing the name, so I'm not able to find him. But
No,
I
he
know.
isn't. I'm going to be very mean, and I'm not going to tell you where in Doc Martin he is.
Okay, so he's somewhere in there.
He's somewhere in Doc Martin, but you will definitely recognize him the second you see him.
I bet I will. I'll be like, hey, that's that old Targaryen.
Right, it's
Say,
old.
hey. I know, one of the last Targaryens left.
So back to Black Books.
Okay.
Poor Manny has to survive in the
Uh-huh.
bookshop because he's locked in there.
That was like Rambo. That was perfect.
He grabs a survival manual.
It's like, trap the rabbit. Where am I going to get a rabbit?
The first thing to do is find shelter. And
So he makes
plenty of something to drink. And he grabs a bottle
the
of absinthe.
You know that stuff will drive people crazy. A whole bottle? Oh my God! It's a wonder he survived.
You can often find nutrition in fungi and insects.
Oh, crunchy.
I always see is like this hanger with a bunch of bees strung on it.
And they mentioned the bees at the beginning.
Yeah, this tiny little butane
fire. I know. He's cooking, and they were already dead.
I know.
That makes it grosser because they've decayed. They're decayed old bees. Oh, it's so disgusting. And they were Bernie's favorite bees. He loved them.
I know. At the end of the episode, he's just wasted beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting there. I did it. What did you do, Manny? I ate all your bees.
Because Bernie's ready to forgive him. Bernie's like, it's okay, it's done. And Manny's like, no, there's something else. And Bernie's like, what? What did you do? I thought he was going to say, I drank all the absinthe.
I know, so did I.
That would piss me off. I'd be like, you drank it all? Because that shit's got to be expensive. I mean, that's some serious drink. That must have been expensive.
Mm-hmm. No, I ate all your bees. And then, oh my God, Bernard looked so angry.
I know. He loved those bees. And I mean, Manny was only there overnight.
Yeah.
He couldn't have been that hungry. That's ridiculous.
Oh, wait. This was the episode Fran...
I loved Fran. That was my favorite part.
Fran
got... The shipping news. The shipping report.
How do I put this politely? This is our British entertainment episode. I gotta be good. Like, okay, so, Fran got really friendly with herself.
Right.
And managed to do the deed by listening to this guy's voice. But she didn't like him. She thought he was a jerk.
He was a twit. Did you hear him say something like, "You look fantastic"?
I know you look. Oh, I can't even
fantastic.
You look fantastic. Oh, and I can't replicate his voice, so he's like low and sexy and.
I know. Friend, I am here. You are sexy, so am I. Let's do it. Part of me wanted like her to go with him. I was like, okay, he's an asshole, he's stupid, but go with him anyways.
And then later on, she's listening to him on the radio, and every woman everywhere will understand. You get to that point, and
don't cut it off.
Then, he finishes, and she's
still waiting. The most obnoxious reader comes on the radio. The most obnoxious.
Oh. And I was like, oh my
I
God.
was like, oh, you ruined it. You ruined it. Oh, it's like that feeling when the battery starts to die.
Yes.
And you're like, no.
Pause that thought.
Okay. Timothy Taylor's bolt maker. That's awesome.
I have no idea. It says established 1858. I have no idea what to expect out of this supposed camera cask champion beer of Britain.
Mhm.
But it is a British beer.
Mhm. It looks really cool.
Smells grainy out of the bottle. That's a little lighter brown than the other one.
Okay.
Feeding the producer.
Yeah.
The
But not
producer.
after midnight. You don't feed them after midnight.
That's right.
And you
Never
don't get
feed-
them wet.
Don't get them wet. Don't feed them after midnight. It's terrible. You wouldn't believe what they produce after midnight.
Well, now I want to see him as a gremlin. With his hair all... We need some pictures.
It's the beard. Like he turns from like this polite little gnome into like this Irish hell dwarf. It's
Woo! Leprechaun from hell.
burnt caramel.
Nice.
It smells like burnt caramel.
Cool.
No, it's much lighter than the Fullers. This is
Okay.
very light.
So
It smells like burnt sugar, but it tastes like a light malt.
okay. So it's not as full as the Fullers. That actually makes sense.
No, it's not as full as the Fullers.
The Fullers is more full than Tommy's. Okay.
I agree with the name Bolt Maker because, you could actually really use this as, a bolstering type ale.
Okay.
This is more of a savoring type ale.
Okay, that's after dinner.
Yeah. But the Tommy's like you could have in between, like at lunch.
Okay. So that's like when you're really knocking some back. You're going to be at the pub until 3 o'clock.
Yeah, you take this like in the middle of the day, and you take this at the end of the day.
Right. That makes sense. I see that.
So I guess I kind of got them backwards. Maybe I should have tried the Tommy's first.
Yeah. And then that would have been the nightcap.
I think I like the aroma on this better
Okay. The burnt caramel.
because it smells almost like what's the burnt sugar?
Creme brulee.
Like it smells like creme brulee.
I love creme brulee. I love it.
It smells like creme brulee, but it tastes like a lighter, just a light malty English ale.
Okay, good for drinking at the pub with your friends. That's
Absolutely.
perfect.
I would definitely buy this again.
Okay. And I bet it would be really good with typical English grub.
Oh, yeah. Fish and chips and
Or pork,
curry.
some kind of pork.
Curry and chips. Oh, my God. Now I want curry and chips.
That would be good. That would be very good. I love pork.
Actually, you know what? I do have curry. I have milk. And I do have potatoes. So I may make
Okay.
that tonight.
You should do that. You still got time. Okay, Kitty. She always does this. She sits on my lap when I'm trying to tweet, and she won't let me tweet. I'm like, I'm trying to tweet.
Cats. They have a mind of their own.
They do. She's very determined. She's going to sit with Mommy. But Fran was my favorite part. And then at the end, when she had to have more because he ended, she called him.
She calls him. And he automatically says all the right things.
Right.
He doesn't even realize he's saying the right things. Fran, do you want me to come over? Fran, I'm going to come over. I'm coming, Fran.
I'm coming. It's like,
and she screams like I've never heard a woman scream an orgasm before.
it sounds like she's getting hit, you know. It's
I know, it sounds like she's getting murdered. Fran, are you okay?
I'm coming, Fran. I'm coming.
Fran, are you okay? Yes. I'm fine, thank you. I caught my foot in the refrigerator.
It's like, how do you catch your foot in the refrigerator? That's the silliest thing. I'm like, Fran. And she's so serious. She's like, hello, yes, I am fine.
I'm fine.
Once she's
fine.
Oh my God, that was awesome. She should just have him come over. Yes, he's a jerk and stupid, but have him come over anyways.
She should have just recorded him.
You know what? That would have made sense. Just record the freaking shipping
and
lane.
put it on constant loop, and I mean, you can do that on tape.
Yep. Well, it sounded like she had a transistor radio, so it may not have had a tape player with it, but she could have put a little tape player with it.
Okay, this was after the 1970s. She could have gotten a tape deck.
Yeah, she could have had a tape deck. It wouldn't have been quite the same, but you know.
Even by 1981, I had a dual Casio. Even I had a dual Casio tape deck.
Mhm.
It was only like what, $40.
Yeah.
She easily could have gotten that.
Well, I guess the point was she was in the middle of her business,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess she couldn't really go anywhere. She needed instant gratification.
She should remember that, though. She totally should remember that, you know, and just get him just record his voice and, you know, put it on a loop, and she won't have to worry about it anymore.
And see, nowadays, this was 17 years ago, but nowadays, she can just play it from the website anytime she wants.
Well, you know, she could just pay him to, you know, say stuff live for as long as she wants.
You know what? She could even go in with other people and say, look, this guy has a fabulous voice. Let's pay him to make all kinds of audio stuff.
You know, I have a fabulous voice. I could be convinced to, you know, to say certain things in a sexy, sexy voice.
The shipping port. The ships are coming in the harbor. It's dark.
The weather will be 74. And
it will be muggy and hot. And it will cling to your body, Fran. The wet will glisten off of your heaving bosom as the moonlight catches your hair, and you moan in ecstasy, and we hear a wolf in the background moaning with you, and it howls, and you howl. So,
you'd have to pay a lot for that.
Well, he may do it for free. Who knows? He probably just wants to be wanted. I mean, the poor guy is doing the shipping report in the middle of the night. That can't be a step up on the ladder.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he seems to have all the arrogance of a self-made man.
That's true. Fran made herself.
Well, she's got a business for now.
I was being facetious. She made herself.
Made herself.
She made herself. She made herself happy. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But he could be one of those people who make it sound like they're all together, but not really. So we don't know his backstory.
That's true. That's true.
I kind of want to know what's going on with this guy. I wonder if he has.
I don't know if we actually ever see him again.
I don't know either. I want to.
It would be interesting, but who knows? Who knows?
Bran. How are you doing? It's so exaggerated. I'm like, nobody actually talks like that.
And oh God, poor Manny, making traps.
I know.
You know, I had to feel for him, knowing how it feels to be that drunk.
Yeah, I know.
You know, okay, he drank like 3/4 of a bottle of absinthe, and like, oh God, he's gonna be in agony tomorrow morning.
He's gonna be in agony. I can't even imagine. I mean,
and then in the end, they steal the security system.
Door! That was perfect.
Well, it looks like you've been burgled again, Manny. They took your security system.
They can have it. If they can figure out how to use it, that's fine.
They didn't take any of the books. No, they took the security system.
What's really funny is they could get in. That means they could get in.
But the original guy showed him how he could do that. I mean, Manny was standing there looking at the door, and the guy just shows up next to him, goes, there's like 45 ways in here.
That's right. He said that, and I have no idea what they are. We've never seen the back wall, the fourth wall. We've never seen that.
We've never seen the fourth wall.
No, so we have no idea. We know the kitchen.
No,
I don't know.
We've seen the kitchen, but we have never seen the fourth wall, which is literally, you know, the very last portion of a 3D environment that you visualize in any fictional area.
Right. So maybe that's coming next. We're going to see the fourth wall in some VR type thing.
And even in Mrs. Brown's Boys, we see the fourth wall.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah, we see the fourth wall in Mrs. Brown's Boys because we see the audience and we see them, you know, doing their dance numbers in and out.
Okay.
But, you know, it seems like there is no fourth wall in Manny's bookstore.
Nope. All we see are, you know, the side, and the front. That's all we see.
And it's only 2D in Fran's shop.
Yeah.
We only see two scenes in Fran's shop ever.
Yeah. We're hardly in there at all.
Yeah.
Which is funny because when they show the outside view, like from the street, I'm always looking at Fran's shop to see if I can see in, but I can never quite see in.
Well, I know hers is right next to his, and hers is like, it's all gaudy
purple.
and like purple, and like it's got all kinds of lamps and stuff in it. And
Hokey Finoki.
I'm like, oh my God, she sells that crap?
Even she calls it crap. She's like, what is this?
It's crap. What is this?
It's chintzy.
Chintzy, yes.
That's exactly what it is. It's meant for tourists and people who are too rich to know what to do with their money.
Yes.
I just still wonder how they pay rent. How do they afford that?
Oh, I wish I knew. Because if I knew, I would move down there in a heartbeat.
I would have one too. I would have a bookstore. I would love it. And I would be welcoming to the people. I would want them to come in.
Yes. Let's go on down. Chocolate chip cookies. I have chocolate chip cookies. Because nobody in America has chocolate chip cookies. But I have chocolate chip cookies.
You never see that in a bookstore. You never see someone making chocolate chip cookies. I would love that.
That is my one big complaint about every pub around here. Every pub has like these shortcakes and chocolate cakes and big, fat, rich desserts. And I'm like, I just want a cookie.
You just want a cookie, not cookies.
Chocolate cookie, that's it. And nobody has one.
I don't have them.
That's it. I would have a bookstore with chocolate chip
Hmm.
cookies, and I
That
would
would be
make a fortune.
awesome. I would love that. Did you notice at the front, Bernard paid someone to take his books? Do
No,
you
what?
remember that?
Wait, what in this episode?
Yes, at the very
What?
beginning of the episode, there's a man in there, and he says, "How much for this box of books?" And Bernard says, $40, 40 pounds. And the man says, "This is worth way more than that. These are hardcover. This is Tolkien or whatever." And Bernard says, "Yes, but if you don't buy them, then I have to take them out of the box, put them on the shelf, then you're going to buy them, and then you're going to bring them back and sell them, and I have to ring that up, and it's not worth the trouble." And then he said, here's 40 pounds, take them. So he gives the man 40 pounds to take his books. It was so
Oh my
funny.
God.
I was like, "Bernard,
Oh.
how has he made it? How has he made it that far? I don't get it."
I know the economics of it is ridiculous,
Does not make sense.
which kind of makes it all the more hilarious.
It's a farce. It
Because
really is.
you never know whether anybody's going to be there from one episode to the next.
Right.
Is Fran going to make it? Is she going to pay her bills enough to have a place to live?
Mhm.
Is Bernard going to fire Manny?
Or are they just going to lock themselves out and never be able to get in again?
Exactly.
Or get lost and can't remember how to get home?
Lost. Oh, I wish that had been an episode. I know it was not an episode, but I wish that had been an episode.
What, them getting lost?
Getting them locked out and being lost for days.
Mm-hmm. Like with
But
nothing.
that would have been pretty expensive because they would have had to do town runs, location, and you have to be really careful in Europe as to what you film and who
Okay.
you film, and everybody has to have, permission to appear. And
Okay. Yeah, they don't do a whole lot of location. Even the stuff like out on the street was probably still a set.
I know British recording has done a few things in LA, and
Okay.
every place you go, there are signs that blatantly state recording happening within this block.
Okay.
If you don't want to appear in it, cross to the
You
other
don't
side of the
go.
street.
Right. Don't go on that street.
Don't go on
Exactly.
this particular block. We had to do that for the one that I was an extra in a Star Trek. It was a long time ago. It was a Star
Fan
Trek thing.
Cool.
So, yeah, it was a Star Trek thing a long time ago, and they had to put up signs all over the place.
Okay.
Recording happening here, and to cross over the side of the street, and then cross back over there, and
Cool. I'd be excited.
they had to pay me, but anybody just walking through, they didn't have to pay them.
Yeah, they're just in the movie because they just
Yeah.
happen to show up. I always wonder about that because you see movies where they have like busy street scenes, and it's like, are all those people extras or some of these people who are just there?
It depends on how big the movie is.
Okay.
If the movie is super big, then yes, everybody is being paid as an extra.
Wow.
If the movie is small, then most likely it is a block that they like. If they're doing a Starbucks, they'll get permission to use the Starbucks for like a couple of hours.
Okay.
And they'll put all their extras, their paid extras in there, to do specific actions. I'm giving this cup to somebody, I'm sitting down and I'm talking about this book, which is what I did. I'm sitting there and talking about this book with this guy. Or somebody else is talking about something else. And and then they have the main action happening. But everybody else is moving around the scene.
Wow.
And anybody who chooses to move through the scene will be escorted through the scene
Yeah.
by the director will choose people to, grab onto these people who just want to walk through the scene, and that's fine. They'll, and they'll just walk through the scene, and somebody will just oh, how you doing? Oh, thanks for walking through. We really appreciate, helping out with the movie and blah, 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 and give them a card and off they go.
Nice.
And that's it.
Okay. See, that would be exciting. I would like that.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, they filmed some movies in Savannah, and they filmed a movie with Robert Downey Jr., Winona Ryder, and Kiefer Sutherland called 1969. And I was at the set every single day. Every single
Yeah.
day, my mother brought me to the set. And at one
Yeah.
point, I was up on a wall by a church, and Robert Downey Jr. walked by, and I jumped off the wall and onto him.
Ah!
I
My
jumped
God.
onto him. Yep. But I landed on my feet. I was right in front of him. I landed right in front of him. And he was so gracious, and he wasn't startled. He spent like 10 minutes with me. He asked me my name, and he held my hands, and
Oh,
he
what
sang
a
Lola
nice
to me. He was very
guy.
nice. He was very good with me. I mean, I was a 16-year-old girl just jumping off a wall at him. So he was very considerate, and you could tell he was used to it. And this
Oh,
was
that's
before
so
he was
awesome.
really such a big star, too.
See, some actors just really have it in them to be
Right.
gracious.
Yeah. And that's part of it. Maybe that's because he grew up in Hollywood. I think his father was an actor.
Yeah.
But, I always liked him because he was very good to me. He didn't have to be, but he was.
No, I mean, none of them are required to be nice to anybody,
No.
you know,
Mm,
and nobody should really blame them if they,
mm.
kind of blew you off, because,
Especially since I technically accosted
yeah,
him. I mean, I jumped on him. So he could have been
yeah.
like security, but he wasn't. So I was always grateful for that.
Well, I think we have probably come to the end of our
We
discussion
have to.
today.
I think we pretty much said everything we can about these two wonderful episodes.
Yep. Well, Lola,
Hmm.
please tell us where we can find you on the internet.
I am everywhere. Twitter.com/Lola Laracy, LolaLaracy.com, Facebook Lola Laracy, and Google Plus Lola Laracy, and Twitch Lola Laracy. How about you?
You can find me anywhere. You can find S0RCERESS0. That's Sorcerer Zero. You can find me at sorcererzero.com. You can find me on Google Plus, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch. You can also find me on Audible, because I do have books out, and I believe
Yes,
so do you, Lola.
I do
You have
too.
books out.
I have Trudy Lim's Spaceship Captain Earth Detective on Amazon and some other places.
Absolutely. And I have a brand new Eclectic Reflections of now available on audiobook and Amazon.
Mhm.
And don't forget to look for new material from both of us as
Yes.
soon as we can get it out.
When I get
Someday,
an extra
somehow,
month,
somewhere.
right? If I ever get fired from my job, then I'll have plenty of time to write. Mhm.
This has been episode 34. This has been our British Entertainment episode. We are so happy that you joined us for this.
Mhm.
Please make sure you join us next time at
Oh, before we
episode
go,
4. Oh, go ahead.
I've been meaning to say this for a while. I should have done it more toward the serious part of the episode, but I figured since we're talking about British matters, we should mention that, our thoughts go out to the people in West London who have lost their lives, or, well, who have been affected by the big fire there. Did you hear about that?
Absolutely. Yes, I did. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. You will actually see a memorial to them just after this episode, after the
Good.
episode has been put together.
That sounds very nice.
Um, we we hate the fact that anybody lost their lives to that,
Right.
and we wish it never had to happen. For whatever reason it happened,
Mhm.
we are so glad that so many people did get out
Right.
and that families got out.
Yes. And I hope they're well, and I hope that they can, come to terms with what happened.
Absolutely. This has been episode 34. Please join us again next time for episode 35, our craft beer episode. This is Beery Good Entertainment. You guys have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.